Smackdown!
Morning glory and hallelujah, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to the very last day of October, known throughout the United States of America, Big J, as Halloween.
Halloween!
Oh.
Trick or treat.
Yes, trick or treat to you, Big J.
Thanks.
You're not going to give me anything, huh?
I do. It's in the car. I got some almond roca for you.
Oh, you did.
So I forgot it this morning, and it's like, I'll get out there at some point and get it for you.
Great. All right. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to it. You've already told me how great the almond roca is. And I will not pull any punches, and I'll tell you exactly what I think about it.
Oh, man.
And I'll eat it in front of you. I don't care.
I didn't make it. Save it for Monday.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you.
Give
That's right.
Kylie a grade in her almond roca.
It was handmade by your wife. What would you give that almond roca?
Oh, I'd give it an A.
Oh, look at you looking for some leniency this weekend in your grade already on the radio. Good for you.
I care.
Whatever you're doing tonight, hopefully it's a good one. If you can't tell, it's going to be a wet Halloween. The showers are supposed to continue throughout the day. The kids may roll into some of that at the evening time as well if they're out there trick-or-treating. So I know you put a lot of work and effort into those costumes, maybe tacking an umbrella onto it. So if your kid's going as a penguin, already a step ahead.
What a bummer, man.
It's the way. Listen, this is the game we play in October in the Treasure Valley. You never know when it's going to happen, and here we are tonight, and it's going to be rainy. But yes, I often remember as a child when it was trick-or-treating out, I was very bummed. I'm like, man. But then also in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? This is probably going to put the kibosh on a lot of other people. Maybe I'll get some extra candy because
the brave.
I'm putting forth the effort, and they're like, man, I got this whole bowl full of candy. There's not as much kids. Here, take a whole handful of it. And as a fat kid, Big J is one of the best things in the world. Oh, my God.
Yeah, of course.
Bring it on. So hopefully you have a wonderful holiday day and you have a wonderful Halloween, and it's a great one. Big J, your costume today is?
Me, dressed up as myself. I don't wear a costume.
One of the biggest celebrities in the Treasure Valley. There's no doubt that Big J is instantly recognizable wherever he goes. People dress up as him. He doesn't dress up as somebody else. You understand?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
I know. As a matter of fact, you've told me several times you don't want to talk about it.
You're also dressed up as something.
I'm dressed up as a guy who gets up early and isn't happy about it. But here I am, ready to go.
I considered this because, a lot of morning shows out there, they all dress up and do whatever, especially when they have some sort of like simulcast and I'm like, well, now we're doing the video podcast. And I'm like, that's not happening. I'm not getting dressed up for that.
Well, the other side to this coin is, like, we're 17 years into this. Are we going to change everything about what we do because we have cameras in here now?
No.
I mean, that's how you ruin
the purpose,
things.
I think. Yeah.
And so we have never, ever dressed up for a show. We've never been that show. Nope. And trying to bring that element into things, I feel like is completely unauthentic and not who we are in any way, shape, or form. So, sorry, guys, if you're watching the video version of this podcast, you're just getting us. But you know what? That's who Big J and I are. You take us or leave us.
Yeah.
All right? What are Bob and Tom dressed up as, Big J?
Nothing. I think one of them's dead.
It's Incubus on the X.
In search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Yesterday, a big day for a little place called Bogus Basin. You ever heard of it, dude?
Yeah, man, I have.
They announced that their new chairlifts will be operational for the 2024-2025 winter season. The mountain's two oldest chairlifts, being the Bitterroot and the Coach chairlifts, were replaced over the summer with a high-speed SkyTrack 4-person lift, according to Bogus Basin. Before the upgrades, the Bitterroot and Coach chairlifts have been in operation for 50 years, Big J. Older than you.
Yeah, I've been on both those.
Bogus, me too. Bogus Basin officials decided it was time to upgrade them to keep up with demand. So back in May, pieces of the old chairlifts were auctioned off to the public so that people could take a homemade little piece of history from Bogus Basin. And the chairlifts are supposed to reduce wait times greatly. The Bitterroot chairlift will also give skiers new access to a new ski run called the Wake Up Gym. It's intermediate, so you have a new ski run at Bogus Basin as well. As we kind of usher slowly but surely towards the winter season, Bogus Basin will be up before you know it. Grab yourself a season pass and enjoy some of the new technology up at Bogus Basin and have yourself a good old time, whether you're boarding or you're skiing or you're doing what Big J and I used to do, which is just go up to the lodge and drink while other people do that.
That's not accurate.
You could have yourself a good time doing what you want to do up there at Bogus Basin.
Maybe you're one of those cross-country skiers.
Oh, man. Yeah. In shape.
The real black sheep of winter sports.
Yeah, even no matter whether you're a boarder or a skier, you hate the cross-country people,
Like,
don't you?
go out there and just walk around, why don't you?
Look at me, take my time. What the hell? Just like Big J predicted, the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series in 5 games.
I didn't predict that at all.
For the 8th time in franchise history. They came from behind to beat the New York Yankees 7-6. Dodgers tied the game in the 5th by scoring 5 runs thanks to a pair of errors by the Yankees. So the Yankees were the architects of their own demise. The Dodgers tacked on 2 more deciding runs in the 8th before starting pitcher Walker Buehler took to the mound to close out the 9th inning. Final Yankee batter struck out swinging, and the Dodgers celebrated on the Yankees' home turf. Your World Series MVP, Big J?
Got to be Freddie Freeman, right?
100% correct. He had 12 RBIs in the 5 games of the World Series, including a walk-off grand slam in the opener, which was probably the most memorable moment of the World Series. And listen, the Dodgers in 5 are kind of feels like a domination, but to the Yankees' credit, 3 of these games were pretty close and could have gone either way. And so you got to give the Dodgers credit, of course, for pulling it out, but it's not like the Yankees got railroaded. They won a game pretty big, and then they got beat pretty big in one, but then there are 3 other games that could have gone either way.
Aaron Judge is feeling pretty bad about himself right now.
Well, he did not have a good series.
He didn't, and he started his bat finally started to fire up, and then, he made a great catch last night against the wall, but then that other error, Cole was throwing some fire until that first flop there at first base. It all fell apart.
Yeah, you know what? Mistakes beget other mistakes sometimes, and so it's hard. And baseball's a tough game.
Yeah.
And once and it's like there's a lot of mental stuff going on there. And once something happens, you start getting down on yourself and forget about it.
I watched most of the game last night.
My God, Big J, did you lose a bet?
No.
Wow, did you enjoy
it?
it?
Was literally I couldn't decide what to watch. But I'm like, the World Series is on, so yeah, I did. I did enjoy it.
Did you pop some champagne at the end and celebrate with the Dodgers?
No.
All right. Well,
I had no interest in who won, who lost.
Well, you kind of did. You hoped for a 7-game series.
Yeah, that part I hoped for. I was like, 5-0. This 5 up. This is great. And then that all came crashing down real quick.
That's exactly what Yankee fans probably thought too. Big J, no matter how hard we try, we cannot stop the Big Bang Theory bus. It just doesn't end. Of course, the series is one of the biggest sitcoms in television history. It led to a spin-off, Young Sheldon, which just recently closed its doors because Young Sheldon suddenly was essentially, middle-aged Sheldon at this point, and they had to figure out what to do. And so now there is a spin-off of Young Sheldon that is called George and Mandy's First Marriage, and the first episode, they did a pilot, and they loved it, and so now a full season of that show has been ordered. It stars Montana Jordan, Emily Osment. These are characters that showed up in Young Sheldon. I believe it's the brother of Sheldon and his wife. And it shows the couple navigating adulthood. So if you are a fan of the Big Bangiverse, you've got yourself yet another sitcom that you can watch and tell everybody how great it is. Will you and I believe them, Big J?
Maybe. my kid watches they watch Young Sheldon religiously.
Okay. Did they like Big Bang Theory?
I don't know. I've never seen them watch Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
So her and Kyle watch that stuff, but they enjoyed Young Sheldon. It was on all the time.
Lots of people enjoy these shows.
Yeah.
Lots of people enjoy these shows. So you'll have another one to enjoy. It's getting a full series order, and you'll be able to watch an entire, at least first season of that show if you're
I
into
wonder what a Seinfeld universe would have been like.
Yeah, they didn't really try to spin off those
particular
characters.
Costanza would have been a great show, man.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, listen,
it was mostly Costanza anyway. Seinfeld was mostly Costanza anyway.
I know, but it was the group of those 4 that played off each other so well. I don't know if just a like Jerry by himself would suck. I think all of them by themselves would get old. It was the way they interacted with each other that made that show gold. And I think they knew that, which is why they didn't spin it off. I mean, think about it. Like, Friends was great, but there was the Joey show that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Because it was just one of them. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. It is the X Rocks. That's Nothing More along with David Draymond. It's called Angel Song here on The Morning After with Nick and Big J. Had some stars in my eyes, Big J, and then to have them yanked away from me yesterday as well. You may have seen the story on KTVB.com about there was a drive-in in Emmett that was
we talked about that. Yeah,
looking to actually sell some of the stuff that was there, and it was something that we had talked about several times in the show about how one of my dreams would one day to be own and operating an actual honest-to-God drive-in movie theater. And so I want to say, first of all, thank you to all the people that supported my goofy little post that I made on social media yesterday about maybe this is something that I might want to think about doing, and it would be really cool. It's crazy to have this opportunity this close to where I call home, and I started thinking about all the things that I could do, and then people started sending links on how I could get small loans and like make it possible.
Josh
Josh was very
like,
helpful.
yeah, but there's a problem. The land part.
Yes, that was exactly the issue. Is I started digging deeper into this story, and it's like, yes, there is a lot of drive-in stuff that is up and for sale over there in Emmett, Idaho, as they are looking to kind of figure out other portions of the business and then kind of get away from the drive-in angle of things. But the only thing that is up for sale is all the equipment that goes along with it. They're selling the screen, they're selling the projector, which is not cheap, by the way. Those things aren't. And then the building where they would have snacks and things like that. But these are mobile buildings and mobile things. And they would even deliver the screen within 300 miles, that kind of thing. But you would need to find a piece of land that is suitable for a drive-in theater to be built. And then also have that area zoned for a business and make sure surrounding areas. And so I also did research on that yesterday going, okay, how realistic is that? What would you need?
You're talking 750 GER.
Yeah, you're talking almost $1 million to make this happen, to find a place to have it go. And so I went from, wow, people are really supportive of this. Maybe I should do some research, to doing some research, to going, oh, no.
When we took that road trip to Rock on the Range and we went to that motel that does the drive-in theater.
Yes.
That's where we learned about the digital conversion for drive-in theaters and how expensive that was.
Right.
Just alone.
And not only that, but like the other thing that if you remember when we were talking to him about that business was he was just like, when you have a drive-in theater in a warm place, it's easy to maintain. But he's like, we're in Denver, you guys in Boise, like our screen takes damage 6-7 times a year that we have to repair because of the elements, the snow, wind, whatever it may be. We have ourselves a whole lot of problems that go into it. And like the screen of this Emmett Drive-In is very nice, but it's also like almost essentially a mobile billboard is really all it is to project it on it. And you would need something that has a little bit more stability if you were to make it a permanent fixture wherever you were going to go. So it's nice to dream about. It's nice to think about. I appreciate the support, but my dream of one day owning and operating a drive-in pretty much crashed down to reality yesterday as well at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was doing more research into this than I really had any business doing. Yeah.
Then
But
you're
I
like,
was
maybe
excited.
I pull the trigger on a loan. Oh man.
Yeah, I was like, okay, how can I do this? Am I able to juggle all this kind of stuff? Maybe I can make it work. And then I'm like, Emmett's not that far away. And then I'm like, oh, it doesn't come with any land. I got to figure out where the hell to go with all this stuff. And then zoning a drive-in is not easy. So whoever may, if anybody does purchase that equipment, I wish them the best of luck. I have made a trek and a pilgrimage to every single operational drive-in theater that's here in the state of Idaho, including that one that was up for a little while down in Emmett, because I am passionate about that kind of movie going. I enjoy that. It reminds me of my childhood. My love of movies began going to see double features at the Starlight Drive-In in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was a wonderful place that I fell in love with cinema and continue to have a love affair with cinema to this day. And so I would love to do things and maybe do that right. But the reality of the situation is those dreams that I have take money, land, and things that I do not have. So I was bummed yesterday for a bit.
I fully support you. And I've told you this before. My uncle owned a drive-in theater, Terry, Montana. And it was a lot of fun. And I got to, help out and do some stuff around there a long time ago. But yeah, it's not easy to do, and it's super expensive. And I don't know how much longer. I mean, at some point, there'll only be just a few.
Yeah. Well, listen,
and still, there's not a whole lot anyways.
No. There was a time, I want to say, pretty much in the early 2000s, 2010, where there wasn't any. It got a resurgence, and I think these had a moment during COVID because it was a way for people to go out and do things and stay in their own space and distance themselves. And it was beautiful for me to see that kind of like people fall in love with the drive-in theater again, because it is a different movie-going experience than any other kind that you can feature, and it's a personalized experience. It's one that you can build memories doing, and if you have it set up the right way and do it the right way, it is a truly wonderful and fantastic way to see a film, whether it's a new one or an old one. But it's tough, and they are experiences, and it takes an effort to do, and there's a lot of different tangibles that go into making it successful. And I can't imagine it's a profitable business, and that's the other side to this coin, but it's fun.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. In a traditional, drive-in theater experience, yeah, probably not. But I feel like somebody with your knowledge and your intelligence, there's opportunities out there to really make it a combined space to do a whole bunch of other cool things that aren't being taken advantage of in that kind of space by the places that exist now.
Yeah, I wanted to make it the world's first porn drive-in theater.
Yeah.
And I still
that
have
would
that
not be
vision.
the world's first, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Morning. Really? There were other places that did that?
Yeah.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, Big J will give you a nerd alert. It's next on the X.
Here's traffic.
Talk to the nerds. Nerd talk.
The best in tech and gaming. Big J's Nerd Alert on 100.3 The X rocks.
Yeah, Microsoft CEO has said that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was the biggest Call of Duty release ever. Shocking. Setting new day one and opening weekend records as sales on PlayStation and Steam jumped 60% compared to 2023's Modern Warfare 3. That's a pretty big number. Game Pass also benefited from Call of Duty's release, setting a new record for amount of new subscribers in a single day. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 launch last week saw strong concurrence on Steam that outperformed Modern Warfare 2 and 3. The leap in subscribers would seem to validate Xbox's big bet in launching Black Ops 6 straight into Game Pass, giving the service a shot in the arm in the midst of a recent growth struggle. Analysts predicted that Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass subscribers by between 2.5 million to 4 million. But the cost of traditional sales. But for now, at least, Black Ops 6 seems to be doing just fine amid strong overall reviews, though it currently sits at mixed on Steam, owning to complaints about multiplayer lag and map imbalance and that sort of stuff.
Well, you did a full 180 on it as well. You went from I really, really like it to I hate the way that this game ended campaign style.
Well, yeah, but the gameplay was still great.
Okay.
It's just the campaign. I didn't like the story arc of it, and one particular mission I didn't really enjoy playing. But other than that, it was more satisfying than a lot of the other campaigns. Just the storyline just sucked at the end for me.
Okay.
A leap in subscribers would seem to validate Xbox's big bet in launching Black Ops 6 straight to in-game pass, giving the service a shot. Oh, I already said that.
You did. Yeah.
My bad. Let's skip on to the next thing here. One forward-thinking PlayStation fan has bought 24 years' worth of PS Plus to avoid increasingly common price hikes. Nick, Reddit user on Reddit in class, said they decided to stack PS Plus subscriptions until 2048 because of the absurd price increases the past few years. They plan to be gaming the rest of their lives, so decided it would save a good bit of money. I mean, that had to cost a little bit of money. Sony offers some discounts for those buying so much in one go, including one wild loophole that after buying the 24 years of PS Plus Essential, saw the premium upgrade reduced by 89%. So as a result, they were able to get the full thing at a hefty discount. Sony last raised prices of the PS Plus in September from $59.99 to $79.99 for the most basic tier. This price adjustment will enable us to continue bringing high-quality games and value-added benefits to your PlayStation Plus subscription service, quote. That was from Sony PlayStation. Anno said that it was inevitable, so another increase in the future isn't out of the question. Xbox Game Pass has seen similar price hikes, Nick, one starting at $9.99 and now costing almost $25. So that is, I guess, looking forward. But that had to cost a chunk of change.
Didn't say in the story how much he spent on it?
No. And I
Weird.
don't do math, so it's got to be
48 years at $79 a clip, but then there were some discounts involved. I mean, we're talking probably at least
$10,000.
At least $10,000.
Crazy. That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
One final thing here. When it comes to audio, the biggest audio announcement at Apple's iPhone event that happened earlier in this month wasn't necessarily the AirPods 4. Instead, it was the milestone news was the company's plan to introduce a robust suite of hearing health features for the AirPods Pro 2 alongside of iOS 18. So Apple's three-prong approach includes prevention, awareness and assistance with hearing protection, hearing tests, and hearing aid tools available directly on iPhone. Just days after the big announcement in September, the FDA approved Apple's hearing test and hearing aid features under the guidelines set forth in its 2022 decision. The FDA allows adults with mid to moderate hearing loss to obtain hearing assisted devices without a prescription or professional consultation. Now, Apple describes its software-based test as clinically validated, one that was developed with 150,000 real-world audiograms and millions of simulations, and the FDA clearly agrees. So according to Engadget's Billy Steele, I've used the AirPods Pro 2 at concerts since they released employing transparency mode to cleanly reduce sound to a safer level with minimum sacrifice to overall audio quality. So basically, this dude's using his earpods as like hearing aids, not hearing aids, but like, you know, kind of a
earplugs.
Earplugs, thank you,
You're
but
welcome.
allowing pass through. So that's pretty nifty. AirPods Pro 2 now officially offer a high fidelity concert experience and won't kill the vibe of the show by muffling the band, since you're more likely to always have them in when you leave the house. You won't have to remember to grab a pair of loops or Sound Protect earplugs before the show. What's more, Apple says you can use hearing protection on AirPods Pro 2 for things like subway commutes, lawn mowing, and sporting events. So that's not a bad way to go if you're looking to maybe get yourself a pair of hearing aids. Apple also explains that the feature shouldn't be used for sustained sound louder than 110 decibels. On the other end of the spectrum, the company says AirPods Pro 2 can provide up to 10 decibels of passive noise reduction when they aren't even turned on. But so you can't use them for things like going to the shooting range and stuff like that. But at a concert, it would do quite well in reducing that. So not bad if you're an iPhone user.
Good for earplugs for sure. I would proceed with caution if trying to use it for hearing aids, because you don't know how much damage your ears have taken, and if you try to just crank it up, you could end up doing more damage than you think. So probably consulting a professional in that world is the way to go. But I do like the ability of having to help muffle and make your sound around you a little bit safer if you are trying to prevent ear damage. I think that's a really good idea. Good for them.
It's pretty cool. There's your nerd alert.
Thank you very much, Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, we got ourselves some important stuff and yet another clue in the X-Rock murder mystery. I hope you're ready, because it's on the way next on the X-Rocks.
Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big J, you're a grown-ass man. About how many times a week do you have a sandwich? I'm not talking about a hamburger sandwich or a hot dog sandwich. I'm talking about
hamburger sandwich?
an honest-to-God sandwich as part of your diet.
Not very much. Are we including Uncrustables here? Peanut butter and jelly?
Yes, we are.
All right, probably 4 times a week then.
Okay. So, and I'm not going to include breakfast. So, on average, it's 14. So, 4 or 14, you're at about almost a 25% clip, 25 to 27% clip of your meals are sandwiches. And you are right around the national average. Sandwiches make up 30% of the average American diet, according to a new survey of adults. 42% of Americans say they absolutely have a favorite sandwich. What would yours be, Big J?
Just classic Italian.
Okay. Grilled cheese tops the list, and then peanut butter and jelly comes in second. Almost half of Americans love sandwiches so much they think they can live off of sandwiches the rest of their lives. I mean, I would argue if you're going to pick something, that would be a good thing, because you can always change the ingredients in the middle. And so, therefore, you have a variety of some sort of diet if you're forced to eat one thing for the rest of your life. As for prep time, the average American needs about 10 minutes to put together a sandwich. And of course, it is a major staple for our diet and will continue to be until the day we die. I had a sandwich for dinner last night.
I mean, it gets all of the essentials in one thing. You know, vegetables, get some protein, get a little bit of carb, all of it all in one little package.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And listen, I have said it before, I'll say it again. There is nothing that tastes better to me than a incredibly well-made sandwich. Like, it's just perfect. There's a lot of different things that go into it.
Weird for an Italian guy to say that.
I know, but I am a sandwich fan. I enjoy sandwiches. But also, like, there's nothing more defeating than a really mediocre sandwich, too. Do you know what I mean? Like, you sit down and go, man, that's not what I wanted. It barely works. But I guess I'm giving myself sustenance, so that's something.
But you always say, oh, that sandwich sucked after you ate it.
Yeah, exactly. Eat the whole thing and go, man, I should have done this instead. But in whatever sandwiches you're making and you're having, I hope it's the best sandwich you've ever had in your life. Your Dodgers are World Series champions. If you're a Dodgers fan, LA beat the Yankees 7-6 last night. That means they win the World Series 4-1. It is the 8th time they've ever won the World Series, the first time since COVID that they claimed the title, first time in 8 years since they've had a full season World Series championship. Congratulations to the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman is your MVP. Most baseball fans and many network executives are bummed out that the series is over, but at least it went to 5 games and wasn't a sweep. After the excitement and also an important streak is alive, it's now been 12 years, Big J, since anybody has been swept in the World Series. There have only been 19 sweeps in World Series history, the most recent coming in 2012 when the Giants took out the Tigers in 4 games. So for now, the streak rolls on, and we don't have to worry about that until next year.
Is this what's called the gentleman's streak? Is that a thing?
What is a gentleman's streak?
I thought it was like a gentleman's sweep. I'm sorry.
I'm still going to need another different.
Where I thought it was like, they give them 1 game and then it's still considered a sweep.
Maybe if that's the terminology, it could be. I'm not familiar with it, but I do not know.
Gentleman's sweep.
What does it say?
It's an NBA thing. It refers to a playoff series outcome where one team wins the series 4-1.
Okay. I don't know why it's called that, but a weird thing. Either way. Big J, we talked earlier this week about the character of Jack Ryan, who's been featured in feature films and television shows for years and years and years. The Tom Clancy character, of course, first brought to the big screen. Alec Baldwin, the first one to play him, right? In Hunt for Red October.
Yes.
And then Harrison Ford took over for several movies. Then it was Ben Affleck for one. Then it was Chris Pine for one. And for the last several years, it's been John Krasinski as part of the Jack Ryan television series on Amazon. Well, now they are going to make a movie out of that Jack Ryan character starring John Krasinski. And the cast of Jack Ryan is going to return for a movie. It'll be directed by Andrew Bernstein, written by Aaron Rabin, who worked on the show. The film will be the next chapter in the storied franchise about the CIA hero. Of course, this is going to, I don't know if it's going to be, I'm sure it's probably not going to be a theatrical release. It'll probably be an Amazon kind of movie that is available on Prime, but it has been a top 3 most watched show globally on Prime Video across its 4 seasons. And I can say this, I think. I'm not exactly a Jack Ryan superfan. I never saw the Ben Affleck movie. I never saw the Chris Pine movie. I haven't watched any of this John Krasinski series. You told me you weren't into the series that much, right?
Yeah, but I think it's not necessarily because of John Krasinski or anything like that. It's just that story. I'm just kind of over it. You know, the CIA, I mean, I might be over some of that stuff when it comes to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't have it's not something I'm really highly interested in at this point.
You don't like the CIA thrillers anymore?
Yeah, no, man. It's hard to get into it.
Like if they were to do
too much reality at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, you look at the news and it's all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I want to escape from that. Instead of escaping into it.
Well, you've done a good job so far, and keep your distance. But they're making a movie. If you like that series, Jack Ryan on Amazon, you're getting more of it. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. Another clue in the X-Rock murder mystery next on the X.
Light. Stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh, man, we're going to hell.
Oh, you know they're both going to hell, right?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
To Russia we go with love.
Russia.
For today's We're Going to Hell story. And we are there as kind of a follow-up / a series of new events that are being triggered throughout the country that are causing people lots of concern. If you remember, I want to say like 3 months ago or so, we did a story where there was a situation where there was some sort of sewer issue that essentially triggered a fecal matter geyser.
Yeah, it was China, right?
It might have been China.
It was China.
But we have a situation now in Moscow where there are 5 different fecal matter geysers happening throughout the particular area. Now,
Jesus.
Russia is saying that it is because it's 50-plus-year-old infrastructure, and they were doing some air pressure tests, and they failed, and it caused a bunch of human sewage to blast off into the air and cover cars and buildings and children and school buses and animals and people on their way to work. And so, again, I can't think of a fate worse than you're walking to work and you just get human sewage rained down upon you from above, and it's coming down like, it's a downpour of poop and pee, and you're like, what, where am I? Why am I here? Oh my God, the pink eye, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's a terrible, terrible thing. But there are videos now of brown liquid shooting up from the streets higher than some nearby buildings. And of course, the smell involved in that is something I can't even wrap my head around, and nor do I want to, for that matter. But the Russian press is saying that it was a planned air release after pressure testing during the construction of gas pipelines. But there are some people that believe that maybe there could be some people hacking into some systems causing these poop geysers across Moscow, because it's one of the larger cities in Russia, of course. And it's their way of kind of breaking down some of the infrastructure in that area and causing chaos and people to, you know, maybe not believe some of the things that's going on. The government can't control our own poop and pee. What could they be doing right? That kind of thing. And so who knows who's behind it, or if it is, in fact, any kind of hacking attack. All I know is there are poop geysers all over Moscow right now. And I can't believe that wouldn't be a huge, gigantic story if you were over there, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to ever come in contact with the poop geyser, but if we even had half of one here in Boise, we would go nuts about it.
Well, we had one.
Tell me about it.
Remember X-Fest? I mean, it wasn't a geyser.
We had more of like a poop lake and a pee lake.
It was real bad. It was in the best seat of the house, too.
Yeah, X-Fest 2012, for those of you that weren't there, was probably the worst professional day of my life.
Yeah.
Yes, because
all of our lives.
We had 3 stages set up. It was one of the biggest X-Fests we ever put on, and the lineup included Coheed and Cambria, Jane's Addiction, Middle Class Rut, Danko Jones. I mean, it was a huge lineup, and then, like, weather happened. And so it was an early start day, but then there was a tornado warning, so we had to evacuate the entire arena, put everybody inside the actual arena, and nobody could get in, so that messed with everything. And then the tornado warning went away. Everybody was allowed to come back out, and then the downpour and rain and thunderstorms happened, which of course also truncated a bunch of sets because the lightning was a part of it. That became a mess. It started to flood everywhere because we got so much rain. And then during that as well, the sewage system at the Idaho Center started to back up. And so in the amphitheater section, like right down like the lower left-hand side of the stage, if you're facing the stage, was essentially, because of the sewage backup, covered in poop and pee all over the ground of the Fort Idaho Center. Yeah. And oh, by the way, Coheed and Cambria and Jane's Addiction still played right next to a huge vat of poop and pee. Yeah, it was a terrible day. And I think maybe 400 people stayed for that entire thing. It was a disaster. Yeah.
But we had that, though, so you don't have to worry about experiencing it again, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I had almost forgotten about it. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
You want more money, Big J? Sure, we all do, dude.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were all rich? We all had that Big J money?
I don't have all that money.
Well, according to a new study analyzing 27 million different Facebook users and a bunch of IRS tax return data, what you need to do, Big J? Get yourself some rich friends, bro. Find people that make more money than you and become their friend. Because that increases your likelihood of, just by osmosis maybe, understanding more about money. Before you know it, you start investing in stuff. You start making wise financial decisions because you hear about the decisions of your rich friends. And that could help you boost your bank account a little bit. What they found out is if people were making anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 a year less than people that they were hanging around with, before they knew it, they had more than $1,000 in their funds after a year of knowing rich people. So that be it through like maybe investment opportunities or just making better purchasing decisions, or maybe you just made your rich friends pay for everything and you saved yourself some money over time. I don't know.
Or both.
Yeah, but it seems to add up. Now, of course, having 10% more high-income friends is associated with about a 15% higher chance of having a little bit more money in the long term. they really can't figure out if there's any particular kind of secret to this. They just feel like it's one of those things that's kind of interesting enough to bring up where, like, if you surround yourself with people that make more money, before you know it, you're making more money yourself.
That makes sense.
Maybe they're giving you advice. Maybe you're talking about things. Maybe you're making investments with them. Maybe you're going into things. Who knows?
Or at least they certainly can help you understand some of that world a little bit better.
Yeah, but you got to breach those topics and have those conversations. But now listen, let's also be clear. Not everybody that makes a bunch of money is a financial genius, okay?
Right.
And sometimes they just, stumbled ass first into a really good job that pays them a lot of money, or they work their tails off and they don't know anything about investing. So just because you know somebody is rich does not mean you're like, hey, give me some money advice, bro. I'm like, I don't know, man. Go to work. So
good job,
it's
you loser.
It's one of those things that kind of varies, I guess, depending on their expertise and their kind of background. But if you can pay off in the long run, next thing you know, you're making some money. Why not, right?
Yep.
Big J, we have some rich friends, don't we?
I mean, I know at least one that is rich.
What do you qualify as rich?
They own a bunch of stuff that's rich stuff owns. Rich people own.
Millions of dollars rich?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
We've never discussed how much they're worth.
Do I know this person?
Yes.
I do?
Yes.
All right, you're going to have to tell me off air.
Okay.
Because I feel like whatever they have is not rubbing off on me. I'll tell you that right
Well,
now.
you're not spending any time with them.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, so you know them better than I.
Yes.
And that's why you got Big J money. Now makes sense.
Getting close to.
Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series yesterday for the 8th time in franchise history. Final score 7-6 over the Yankees. Come from behind win. Yankees had a 5-0 lead in that game and then just crapped right down their leg. Dodgers took advantage of it. Freddie Freeman named the World Series MVP, 12 RBIs in the 5 games in the World Series, including the walk-off grand slam in the opener, and then maybe probably set pace for the actual World Series. Congratulations to the Dodgers and their fans on a dominating season. And listen, they had the highest payroll in baseball. They got what they paid for, baby.
Yeah.
Big J, you and NFL players have something in common. I'm very upset that I forgot to tell you this story.
Hut, hut.
NFL players have a favorite snack, and it's not even close. You know what they love?
Yeah, they love Uncrustables.
Dude, when I was at the Packer game and in the Arizona Cardinals locker room, and I saw them set up for the pregame stuff, and I was amazed by the amount of Uncrustables that I saw in an NFL locker room. And I forgot to take a picture because I was doing all sorts of other stuff, but I was like, I got to remember to tell Big J this. And then I saw this story, and I'm like, I totally forgot to tell Big J about Uncrustables.
And then I saw the story, and then I realized, I didn't really read the back of the package and thought, oh, damn, I had 2 Uncrustables last night. I took in like 80 grams of carbs.
Yeah, it's a lot of carbs.
Whoops.
But
Whoops.
A recent report basically says that NFL players consume about 80,000 Uncrustables every year in order to fuel their workouts. It is their pregame snack. At halftime, they load up on Uncrustables because it helps with a sugar boost. It gives them some carbs and some protein and gets them back out there on the field and ready to play. And it's obviously a portable snack, too, that they can eat on the run when they're doing kind of things. And so Uncrustables are hugely popular in the NFL, and I forgot to mention that I saw cases of them when I went to the Packers game. And
What was the predominant flavor?
They had literally exact amount of cases of grape and strawberry. Like it was split down the middle.
I'm a grape guy,
and they were on the table all laid out. Like half of the table was grape, half of the table was strawberry. So you could go whichever way you wanted to go. It was nuts.
It's one of those things I turned my nose up to for a long, long time, and then I realized, you don't have to eat them frozen. My family are animals. They eat them while they're frozen.
How do you even do that?
I don't know, but it's gross to me. I'm like, who wants frozen peanut butter and jelly? That seems gross to me, but whatever, they do it. I like it. But the cool thing about it is when it thaws, it's like the perfect bite, man.
The perfect peanut butter and jelly bite.
Yeah.
If you are not familiar with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, I don't know what to tell you. They are the owners of Wrexham AFC.
You guys are idiots.
A football club, and that has gotten some ridiculous success since they have taken things over. But if you watch any of Welcome to Wrexham on FX, you know it has cost them a lot of money to get to where they are.
Has it, though? They say that, but I don't believe them.
Well, they're selling a minority stake in the team to somebody else, which to me, if this was any other place, you're looking for an influx of funds right away. You're not selling the stake because it's not listen, they make money hand over fist. They must need money now to help them get. Maybe they need to fund the rest of the stadium project. I don't know. but they needed because they're not going to sell it just to sell it. Why would you do that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You have to need some additional money for something. So they're selling a small stake of the actual club to the Allen family of New York to help expand the influence, they say. But they're also buying a local brewery there called Wrexham Lager Beer Company Limited, which I had while I was at Wrexham at a game. They serve it at the stadium there, and it was very good. I enjoyed it very much. Or maybe I was just all caught up in the experience and everything tasted good to me.
Right.
I don't know. But
Like, Wrexham AFC,
Yeah.
everything is great.
I was all Wrexhamed up when I saw the game in Wales, and I had a really good time. And so I was not shocked that they were buying this lager company because there were advertisements all over the stadium for it if you go see a game at the race course. So congratulations to the Allen family. They're getting in on what has to be a huge moneymaker for this entire kind of people that are involved in the Wrexham AFC Football Club. And the team continues to do really well. Now that they're moving up in the leagues, they're still winning and doing really well in the standings. And so who knows what they could be. I mean, this little teeny tiny soccer club could be among the big boys playing
the
soon.
Premier League.
Oh, it's crazy, Big J. Sometimes it just takes money to win. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Hey, there's your important stuff. We got your Pop Culture Smackdown next on the X.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Monster Jam kicks off tomorrow at the Fort Idaho Center Arena. We got tickets for you for the 7 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun. You just have to beat me Pop Culture Smackdown to get yourself in here for free.
Oh, you think you got what it takes to take out Big J? Do ya?
Yeah.
208-287-1003 if you want to play Pop Culture Smackdown. It's a game we like to play. And if you want to take on Big J and win these tickets, then you better get on the phone and see if you got what it takes. Big J, are you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right, let's see how it goes. To the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Hello,
Hi, buddy. What's your name?
Joe.
All right, Joe, you're up first. Joe, what DC superhero did Michael Keaton play on the big screen?
Batman.
That is correct.
Right, Batman.
Big J, what MCU villain did Michael Keaton play on the big screen?
The Vulture.
That is correct. Right. Back to you, Joe. Joe, what city do Batman and Robin protect and patrol in the world of the DC universe?
Gotham.
That is correct. Right. Big J, to you, sir. When he was a magazine writer, he was known as PJ Clapp, but he changed his name when he became very, very famous for doing something else. What is PJ Clapp's, I guess, more famous Hollywood name?
PJ Clapp's more famous Hollywood name.
Yeah, nobody knows him as PJ Clapp. They know him as this.
He was a writer?
He was a pretty good, pretty prolific magazine writer before he got famous for something far, far different than that.
Let's go with Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase?
No idea.
Not bad. What have I said? Think a little bit more in the stunt world.
Oh, Burt Reynolds?
No. Wrong. No. A little bit more modern than Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, no idea.
Like made 5 movies, had a TV series on MTV.
Dan Cortez?
Wrong. You can pull out the name Dan Cortez
Yeah,
out of
sorry.
nowhere.
I don't know. What? Who?
Johnny Knoxville.
Right.
Better known as PJ Clapp.
That does
PJ
make
Clapp's
sense.
his real name. Johnny Knoxville is who he
Stick with Knoxville,
is
dude.
the persona he took on when he decided he wanted to become famous for really, really hurting himself. Joe, congratulations. You're going to Monster Jam. Please hang on 1 second. We'll get some information from you and make sure you're all set and good to go there.
I separate stuntmen and idiots
Okay.
who just want to hurt themselves.
I didn't call him a stuntman. I said think about the world of stunt.
Okay, I guess.
I didn't say he was filming stunts for other people. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There is your Pop Culture Smackdown. We got ourselves some headlines. They're next on the X.
Like your daily update of really stupid stuff. It's time for headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines are as follows, Big J. Bluey, no!
Oh, no.
More meat. And get a room.
More meat.
Anna Tollison was excited to have herself a delicious steak and cheese Subway sandwich she bought over the summer, but ended up disappointing in the amount of meat in her meal, Big J.
Can't imagine.
How do you deal with something like that?
You don't go there to start out with?
Close. You file a class action lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
Filed in Brooklyn on Monday. Anna accused the basically the Subway mobile app of being misleading, especially the photos that she found on that app. The lawsuit claims that the photos in the app contained well over 200% more meat than what was in the actual sandwich. The suit seeks to represent other New Yorkers who have brought the sandwich over the past 3 years and also have been disappointed in the amount of meat that they have. So what the hell, Big J?
I don't know. If you're a New Yorker, what are you going to Subway for? You go to Cat's Deli.
At convenience is king.
You need to tell them to not put so much meat on a sandwich.
Yeah, take it easy. Don't stack my pastrami so high.
I don't need 8 pounds of pastrami here, okay?
But you're not saying it like a New Yorker, Big J.
Hey, what are you doing with all this meat? Take some away. Oh, gabagoo.
Yeah, all right. Now you get it.
Yeah.
Bluey, no! Or get a room.
Bluey, no.
Police in Australia have recovered $26,000 in stolen Bluey dollar bucks after a 3-month investigation. Now, Bluey is a very popular children's cartoon, and the Australian Mint produced a limited edition coin inspired by the popular show last year. Basically, what they found out was in July, 63,000 of those coins were stolen.
Damn.
Police found out they were being sold online for about 10 times their face value, and so they figured out this must be where all those coins came from. And they recovered about 1,000 coins, which led them on the track to about 40,000 more during a raid of a storage facility. So far, 3 people have been arrested in connection with the stolen coins. The police unit responsible for cracking the case, Big J? Strike Force Bandit. And if you're a Bluey fan, you are laughing right now. Bandit is the name of Bluey's dad, Big J. So they're making cute little references there in Australia to Bluey.
It almost fits too well. Like, that's crazy.
Like you think actually Bluey was involved in it? It's an inside job?
No.
Be teaching kids how to steal and then sell things online?
No.
Terrible lesson. That's right. Good. We'll wrap it up with Get a Room. Cops in Georgia have made it clear they're all in favor of people that are arguing to make up and reconcile, but they want to make sure that you're taking care of the physical part in the privacy of your own home. Police in La Viona, Georgia, arrested a couple who had just settled a spat while driving on the interstate and said, you know what we need to do? Make up sex. Decided to pull over at an exit real quick and then just get it on right there in the car, right outside a Raceway gas station on a patch of grass, Big J, not even on the street.
Damn.
So police found the couple with their pants down, getting down to business in full view of people, which also is not necessarily something that they enjoy.
Yeah.
They both were arrested and charged with public indecency. The police department did go on social media telling couples that if they get the sudden urge to reconcile their relationship, they should get a room or maybe go home and take care of those urges. But to do so in public, right there while somebody's getting a tank unleaded is considered to be, basically not something that you want to do out in public.
Yeah, we don't want kids having to see that nonsense.
Yeah, nobody needs to see you having sex, Big J.
They should walk on you at home, like regular kids.
Yeah, like we all did back in the day.
Yep.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There is your headlines. You're up to date on everything. It is the X-Rocks. Latest from Green Day, Bobby Socks on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, today is Halloween, trick-or-treating time. Yes, you'll be handing out some candy, but you get to miss out on all the real fun because your kids are too old, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure that this is something that a lot of parents of kids who've gotten older can relate to, is that they miss it, man. They miss when the kids go out, get all dressed up and do the trick-or-treating and come home with bags and bags full of candy, and then you take half of it from them.
Yeah, you would call it the tax, right?
Yeah, the dad tax, because we can't have all this candy for these kids, and you didn't want to teach them at the same time about how taxes work.
Yeah, you're educating.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. But I also miss just them getting dressed up and really, for a while our house is kind of the hub. Like our next door neighbors, they had a couple younger kids. As our kids got older, they would go out with them trick or treating, like Molly, and we were next door. And so we would have pizza at our house, and we would, have all the trick-or-treaters come to our house, and then the kids would go out and with the younger kids, and it was just a really fun time. But now, the kids are grown up and out of the house for the most part, so we don't get to experience a lot of that anymore, and I kind of miss it.
Well, you can still have a Halloween party if you want and be the hub for other things.
A little late for that.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Plus, now the wife works at home, so it's...
She working tonight?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to behave yourself.
It's a real problem.
It becomes an issue when she's on a very important phone call and the doorbell is ringing all the time and the dogs are barking.
More importantly, when Lincoln's barking.
Yeah.
because that comes through the microphone.
Which is going to happen a lot, I'm sure, tonight,
Yeah,
right?
I was like, hey, maybe you should take this day off. I mean, you take a day off for most everything else.
Now, this is not Lincoln's first Halloween, right?
No.
Yeah, so how was it last year?
It was barky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it becomes bad.
We haven't had that many trick-or-treaters, but and tonight with the weather, we'll see how that goes. But either way, you could have a house party, those kind of things to make up for that. But still, it just doesn't, ring as true as when the kids were kids.
Yeah, I was telling the story the other day about how, while my kids are younger than your children, still they're not much candy eaters. They don't really enjoy it that much. So them going over and getting just a gigantic booty of candy wasn't something that they would partake in. And then, like, I don't have much of a sweet tooth either, so I wouldn't do it. So a bunch of candy would essentially just go bad, and we do it just to do it because it was a fun family activity. But then it would be like, we have to find a place to donate this stuff to because it's just going to go bad, or one of us is going to eat it and then get sick, and that's how it's going to go. But whether you have kids that are old enough or you're just enjoying trick-or-treating, you're going trick-or-treating with your kids tonight, dress accordingly. It is going to be kind of cold and windy and a little bit rainy, maybe off and on tonight, and have a whole lot of fun. And Big J, and a reminder, if you're in Middleton, Big J's got full-size candy bars, so it might be worth the trip. Yeah. Over to the Big J house if you know where he's living. I'm not telling you where that is.
Yeah, don't come looking for me.
I'm just saying.
Hope you stop at my house.
Big J has got the full size candy bars over there in Middleton. Just so you know. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Prizes coming your way with Bad Impressions. They're next on the X.
Bad Impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, let's get somebody to Monster Jam. It's happening tomorrow night, kicking off at the Ford Idaho Center Arena, and it is always a blast. Big trucks, jumping things, crushing stuff, making loud noises. It's fun. We'll get you set up with these tickets for free. You just need to figure out the clues here to a famous celebrity.
All right, 208-287-1003 if you want to play a game called Bad Impressions. It works like this. Big J has 3 clues. They're usually about somebody pretty famous. If you can figure out who that famous person is in 3 clues or less, congratulations, it is you and a guest that are going to Monster Jam and having a great time this weekend, completely free of charge, saving yourself some money, living some dreams, maybe making who knows what come true at Monster Jam. My guess is all sorts of things happen at Monster Jam, right?
Yeah.
Friendships, loves, all sorts of things. So if you want to be a part of it, get in on the phone and see if you can play Bad Impressions. You ready, Big J?
Yep.
To the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Hello.
What up, man? What's your name?
My name's John.
All right, you're up first, man.
Like most rappers from the 90s, I now do home renovations and house flipping.
Okay.
I only know how to do things one way, and that's VIP style.
Okay, next.
My real name is Robert Van Winkle, but that isn't what people know me as.
Vanilla Ice.
That is Vanilla Ice.
Nailed it, John. Good job, man.
Dun.
Hang on 1 second. We will hook you up with those Monster Jam tickets. Your man, Vanilla Ice, Big J.
Yeah.
You love that dude. Why is he in the news?
Today is Robert Van Winkle, a.k.a. Vanilla Ice's birthday. He is how old? How old do you think he is?
Well, let's see. I'm going to put him in his 50s. I'm going to say 57.
Yeah, he is 57.
Yeah?
Good guess.
All right.
You must have looked.
I did not. Honestly, that's a guess.
He doesn't necessarily have a TV show anymore, though he does some specials here and there on renovating, which is really always fun to watch. But he's on tour a little bit. He's playing a lot of private events. Like, people pay him a lot of money to play a private show. And then he's got the Love the 90s tour, which is kicking off in March. That looks like a lot of fun.
Did I ever tell you about that? Remember when he did the remake of Ice Ice Baby Metal and then did like a metal tour for a while?
Yeah.
I saw that show down in Florida. It was something. It was something when I lived there. That's for sure. What is the name of his company that he has that you own the logo for?
Oh, I don't know what the logo's called, but I just love it. I mean,
yeah.
it's an angel with a Mac 10, so you can't go wrong with that.
But he's still out there, still doing his thing, and I guess happy birthday to Vanilla Ice. Have you ever seen him in concert?
Yeah, I've caught him before. Yeah.
In the hip hop days?
No. This was on like when he was doing one of his. I think it was out at the music festival that he was here at.
Oh God, okay. So that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay. But he was doing his songs regular style, I guess.
Oh
is
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah, not the metal version.
No.
The Vanilla Ice version.
gun to your head, can you name another Vanilla Ice song besides Ice Ice Baby?
Oh, I used to, man. I used to know that whole album because I was white.
And you're not anymore.
Yeah.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your bad impressions. We will wrap up the show here next on the X-Rocks. Monster Magnet, Space Lord, wrapping up the Morning After with Nick and Big J on this Thursday. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We got a Nerd Alert courtesy of Big J, which always feels good. And we had ourselves some fun talking a little bit about drive-in theaters, about trick-or-treating over the course of the next 24 hours or so. Enjoy that. And we also had a chance to talk about basically fecal matter geysers, which is disgusting. But it was
geyser.
Part of the show today for sure. Reminder, Big J going to be out broadcasting live this Saturday from noon to 2 p.m. at Expo, Idaho to kick off the ski swap. The event Idaho skiers and snowboarders look forward to every single year. Always have the best prices. The ski swap is happening at Expo, Idaho. You can learn more at bbscf.org, which of course Big J stands for?
Bogus Basin Ski Education Program.
Foundation.
But
you nailed it. You were very, very, very close. Just got the letters mixed up there at the end. But it also leaves you with the floor, sir.
Is there, Nick, do you think there's a city who out there that when they win a championship, they won't burn the place down?
In the year 2024 and beyond, no.
I mean,
this is how we celebrate. We destroy things.
I mean, it's crazy that just LA was a nightmare last night after the Dodgers do a great thing for their fans and win a championship, and then people respond by just rioting and looting.
My only counter to that would be if like one of the really, really smaller cities that actually have a franchise win a championship, like let's say the Oklahoma City Thunder end up winning the NBA championship. I don't see Oklahoma City rioting.
They don't know how. They never done it before.
Right. And so, I think that's part of it. But, I would have said, no, that wouldn't happen in, Canada. But when Calgary got close last year, they started it. And so it was like, okay. Or when they lost, they rioted. And it's like, well, maybe everybody will then. And this is just how we celebrate things now, is by tearing down things that we have brought in the celebration. But again, everybody's hammered. And so that's what happens. You start to turn into, feral animals for some reason. And that's how we celebrate.
Like a zombie movie.
Yeah. I can't remember, I've been part of championship celebrations and enjoyed when my team has won anything. My first instinct was not to destroy what is around me. But maybe I'm wired different. I don't know.
Yeah, usually, I think you are.
That's not how I react to good news, is by tearing things around me down. I can't control myself. Destroy it.
Burn it.
Yeah. But people are, again, maybe that's a group think kind of thing. You get together and go, oh, that person's kicking in a car. Maybe I should do it.
That'll be fun.
That looks fun. And nobody's going to catch me.
Then
Let's
it's
go.
The Purge.
Right. And that's clearly where we're headed, Big J. Enjoy. Morning After with Nick and Big J. That is it for us. Jason Drew is coming in next. You guys have a good one. It's the X-Rocks.